Welcome to this week's lesson on fats. Now, contrary to popular belief, eating fat does not necessarily make you fat unless, of course, you're in a calorie surplus. Dietary fat is an essential macronutrient, the other macronutrients being protein and carbohydrates. Within our body, dietary fat provides us with energy, regulates hormones including our sex hormones and our steroid hormones, strengthens our cell membranes, which allows our cells to function effectively. It forms our brain and our nervous system. It transports fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E and K, which are valuable for things like eyesight, regulating blood pressure, regulating immunity and blood clotting. And it provides us with omega-3s and 6s, which play a massive role in pain and inflammation regulation. So where do we get dietary fat? Dietary fat can be found in foods like nuts and seeds and all varieties, avocados, dairy products like full-fat yogurt, cheeses and butter, eggs, fatty meat, fish and poultry, and olive oils. Just one note on fatty meat, fish and poultry. These we would have covered in a previous lesson on protein. However, there is a certain amount of fat in these foods too. The George Foreman grills that you've seen, I'm sure, and you probably had one, I know I had one myself, where all the fat drains off the meat, chuck it in the bin. Cooking your meat in the healthy fats gives it that real flavour and that real juiciness that you're going to love. Dietary fat is the most energy dense macronutrient that there is at 9 calories per gram. Because it's almost double the calories per gram of carbohydrates and protein, the portion sizes are that little bit smaller. So the portion sizes that we're going to use for our fat is a thumb size portion. So again, using the hand, the thumb should be relative to the body size. So you're looking at the thumb from the knuckle to the tip, about the width, about the diameter. 1 to 2 portions per meal for females, 2 to 4 portions for men. So if you use the plate graphic that we've had up in the previous videos, your veggie will be half your plate, your protein roughly a quarter, your healthy fats will take up a very small portion and might even be invisible. So be aware of that if you're cooking your protein like your fatty meat, fish and poultry in butter or olive oil, you may have already used 1 to 2 portions of your healthy fat allowance just cooking the meal itself. So while it may not be visually on your plate, the calories will still be there, with the carbohydrates making up whatever is left over. And one more quick thing before this lesson finishes is that there are good fats and bad fats. Good fats tend to be saturated fats or unsaturated fats. Saturated fats like butter is the best example, is solid at room temperature. And unsaturated fats would be liquid at room temperature. So think of like your olive oils and your sunflower oils and things like that. Bad fats tend to be present in most junk processed foods, and these are called trans fats. You may or may not have heard of them. These fats tend to be highly processed in order to exaggerate the shelf life of the product that it is within. So if you stick with real food first and cut down on processed junk foods, then chances are you're taking in more good fats than bad, and that can be a bad thing. So that ends today's lesson on healthy fats. If you have any questions, again, feel free to contact me at markcaulfieldcoaching@gmail.com.